Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, where we believe most high net worth individuals and their professional teams struggle to find great capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy, and using a proven tax deferral strategy such as the Deferred Sales Trust is the best way to exit your highly appreciated assets tax deferred so you can create, preserve, and grow your wealth. I'm your co-host, Pearson York, filling in for Brett Swarts, and each episode I'm joined by some of the best wealth, business, real estate, and leadership individuals in the world to share ideas, deal stories, and inspirations. So together we can make complex tax deferral strategies simple and passive income plans achievable. As always, we're streaming on expertcresecrets.com, the Capital Gains Tax Solutions YouTube channel, and the Kingdom Luxury Realty Facebook channel. And I'm super excited about our next guest. He's been in the crypto space since 2016. He worked for Ripple. He's been a business coach, and now he's an entrepreneur with his own company called BODO that we'll get to dive in really deep. And I'm just super excited to interview him. And please give a warm welcome to Breno. I'm going to botch this, but Anarujo? Breno, how you doing,
Good.
man?
Hi, Pierce. Thanks
How
for
did
having
how did I
me.
do on the last name?
You did well, yeah. I normally tell people not to try, but you were brave.
I
So
was brave.
thanks.
So
It's a nice way to say, and you totally
botched it, but that's oh man. Okay, so Breno, how'd you get started, man?
In crypto,
Yeah.
or yeah. I mean, I've been curious about technology most of my life. I started coding. I was 12 years old, and I've been building things since then. I got curious mostly because of gaming. Started building mods for games, and then I studied mechatronics engineering, which is robotics, basically, where mechanics meet AI. And yeah, I've been curious about technology since then. So when I first heard of crypto, I got very excited about. It's always like expecting these new technologies, disruptive technology, right? And so back in 2016 is when I first bought Bitcoin, and I joined Ripple in 2017. I worked in for Ripple for 4 years before leaving to start BOTO last year to build a no-code platform automation focus on the Web3 space.
Awesome. And yeah, we'll dive into all of that. But before I do, I want to ask, I believe everyone's been given a set of spiritual gifts or superpowers. What are one or two strengths or superpowers or spiritual gifts that you have that have let you to be as successful as you are today?
Um, I think I'm self-learner. I love to learn things, new things. I'm always curious, very curious about things, and I'm very much a doer. So I get things done. I work very hard. I always had side hustles along my jobs, and that's how I got into having my own company. So
Nice. So learning how to do something and then going out and immediately applying it.
I guess simple as that.
Yeah.
That's
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's knowledge without action is what? Just nothing. So way to apply it. That's where you get your wisdom from. So okay, all right. So let's talk about BODO. So what is it? How's it work? What's the problem you're solving?
So if you think about the Web3 space specifically, there's a lot going on. A lot of information is available and free, but it's not so easy to get access to it. Like if you go to check what's in an Ethereum block and try to understand it, it's not so easy for a human, right? So most of this information is built for machines to understand. And what we are doing is allowing people to take advantage of the information that is open and in all the platforms across blockchains, and accessing that in a more efficient way by building automations to receive the information they want to receive by the means they want to receive and when they need it.
So okay, so forgive the ignorance, right? But what does that exactly mean? So basically, like an example, right? Like
Yeah.
blockchain, open source, right? Most of them, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, they're you can go out there, you can see it, public ledger. I like to super simplify it and just say it's basically just like a giant Google Doc, or Google Sheet that you can basically see in blocks. But you have, and that's I know a elementary probably like understanding of it, but But essentially, that's what it is, right? Everyone can kind of go in and like look and see like what's going on, and like, it kind of just like gets, proofed by everyone else's computing power to make sure that the transaction's legit. And so, but it's like really difficult to read. So, are you telling me that your platform basically goes in and just like distills it like down so that we can understand it, or like what exactly are you trying to solve? Like, why would someone like me need to be able to go in there and just like totally understand exactly what's going on with it?
Yeah. So, I mean, my platform, but many platforms today will allow you to go and read that data more in a human format. So, like Etherscan and all the platforms will allow to do that. I think where we really make a difference is there's a lot going on. So it's not just by being able to read that information, but also following up on things that are 24/7, right? So we are not 24/7. So keeping up with crypto, all that's going on. Imagine you might hold multiple coins in different blockchains, and knowing what's going on that's important for you to know in order to make a decision to, for example, sell something that you have or buy something new in an NFT or vote in a DAO that you have tokens for. It becomes a big problem to follow up on all that, and that's more where we add value. So imagine that you have tokens for a specific DAO, and you can now receive notifications about new proposals on your Telegram or Discord or email, wherever you prefer, and then vote that through the bot instead of having to go to another platform. That's what we are building. That's what we are helping people with.
So you're really basically bringing all of the information from all these different platforms into one place, and you're basically just integrating with whatever communication channel you like the best.
Yes.
Okay. So, if I just want to get, text updates or on, my ETH and whatever, something important's happening, then I can just have it just immediately send to my phone. I'll be like, hey, ETH's trying to do this crazy ETH 2.0 thing. Do we want to do it or not?
Yeah, exactly. You can monitor your wallets for things that are happening, money leaving or entering,
Yeah.
without you knowing, or someone dropped an NFT into your account. You never know. Sometimes, some airdrops and things. And there's a lot going on. Sometimes you don't even know, right, what's going
Yeah.
on with your own accounts. Even that is hard to keep up. And yeah, receiving where you want to receive it, on Telegram or Discord or whatever is your preferred medium, it's also very important. So you consolidate all that into where you read more often, right? So you can
Right.
act quicker.
Okay. And then like through your bot, is it like or your like product? Is it a like, can you make decisions and make moves from that thing as well?
Yeah. So the platform is very modular. So let's say you can say, I want to make a decision. I'm going to use NFT as an example, but basically, if you have an NFT collection that you follow, such as Bored Ape, and you want to follow that collection and buy something that is in a underpriced asset, let's say. So you can follow up the Bored Ape collection and set some certain filters in the bot. It's very easy to customize. It's very composable, the platform. So imagine you're following Bored Apes for new listings, someone selling one of the NFTs there. And then you can say, okay, I only want to be notified if the NFT has a certain attribute, because
Okay.
different NFTs have different attributes, right? So within the same collection, they might have the Bored Ape might have a pink color, and that pink color is a rare item. So you only want to be notified about those specific rare attributes. Let's say. So that's one thing that might be your decision, right? So we let people build the bot using their own decision without having to know how to code. And then let's say you want to see if that specific if any of these NFTs with a pink color comes out within a certain distance from the floor price of the collection. So the floor price is the cheapest NFT being sold, right? So if you know this is a rare item, you might say, if that rare item becomes within 20% of the floor or 10% of the floor, whatever is your decision, again, it's based on your own logic, you can add that to the bot. And you can go further, you can add other things such as gas fee and say, okay, I only want to know if gas fees are below X. Otherwise, I'm not even transacting because it's too expensive. Or anything that you can take, like information from the Web3 and that you normally would use for your own decision, you can add that already on the bot. So you're not going to be notified all the time. You're only going to be notified when all your criteria are met.
Okay, so you can basically set up search alerts that will basically bring you stuff when they hit your certain buy box. And so then can you like buy from it? Like, is there like a button that like in your app or something that just would be like, all right, like, pink Bored Ape NFT popped up under, 20% under, price with super low gas fees, like buy now, and you can just like click and it'll just like immediately buy?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. We've been live since August last year, so not very long. And since then, we've been doing only notifications. But right now, this week, we're announcing our pro version of the app, which
Okay.
will allow you to do actions such as buying the NFT, buying, releasing on a different price. And that will be through, you get a notification and say there's a buy button. You just need to approve the transaction with your MetaMask. In the future, we want to fully automate those transactions. But we felt like even with our users, they prefer to kind of like have that last say before they spend money, especially when you're talking a lot of money and gas fees.
Yeah, definitely. So, okay. And then what about, how does this relate, and how do I implement this into other like softwares and stuff? And how does it help me basically, like, can I integrate this with other softwares that I'm using for other things besides crypto? Or is it solely crypto based and solely the Web3?
We are adding more and more support to other softwares. The idea is not just us from BODO can add support. In the future, we're going to open for developers to add third-party people to also be able to add more apps. Right now, you could use us even to monitor Reddit news or any RSS feed. We are adding Twitter. So we want to add, for example, Google Spreadsheets, Airtables, that kind of stuff. So ultimately, it won't be just a Web3 platform, because even to take actions on Web3, you need Web2 data to empower your decision, right? And connect to Web2 software. So definitely it's a platform that is bridging both of the worlds, Web3 and 2. And that's how we see going forward.
So, like, because it seems like there's bots out there all the time for these things. Like, I mean, even if you look at like stocks and stuff like that, like there's bots out there all the time that are currently like just going. They're alerts, and they're buying and they're selling and they're doing all these like transactions, stuff like that. Is that ultimately what you're trying to create in like the crypto space, or is yours more like centered around bringing information to the end user so they can make decisions?
It's a good question. When I look at trading bots, okay, be that Web2 or Web3, there are loads of trading bots in Web3 as well. They are more, let's say, on the quantitative side, or they use normally analytics numbers to make decision if price is going down, and traditional financial trading metrics for that. They tend also to be more on the daily trading, or something that is quick to take opportunity and act buying and sell in seconds sometimes, like quantitative trading. This is not really what we are trying to build. What we want to build is a platform that ultimately, for longer term decisions that today maybe you make them manually, or would require you to be aware of everything that is going on, instead of having to follow up on all those things, all the information that is out there, or constantly working on something, we will save your time by you go once to the platform, set up your logic, and say, okay, let's suppose, for example, that you in your portfolio decision is that you're going to stop and you're going to get out of crypto completely if Bitcoin goes down by 30%, right? So you could have some sort of alert that says, look, monitor this. Or you could say, maybe on your logic is, if Elon Musk says something bad about Bitcoin, I'm just going to get out. So whatever that is, whatever your logic is, whatever your decision making is to buy or sell something, but not just buying and selling, the idea is that you can bring that logic to BODO. So if that makes sense.
Yeah, it seems like um, it seems like that's just a different. You're not playing in a trading bot field at all. You're really just trying to bring information. So, okay, let me try and tie this into what we do. So, how are you currently how does BODO make money?
Okay. Yeah, good question. So, and just to add a little bit to the previous example as well, because I realize I mentioned a lot about buying, selling. I think a lot in crypto today is related to buying, selling. Money in crypto is mostly about trading, right?
Right.
Be NFT or coins. Uh, Most of the utility today is in that scenario, but our vision is more on the long term, right?
Okay.
This technology is going to grow. It's not going to be only about DeFi. It's not going to be only about NFT art. NFT in itself has lots of use cases, right?
Right.
DAOs, for example, is not about buying or selling something. So building this platform that is custom enough for you to automate things in the Web3 space, regardless if it is financial driven or if it is based on voting for a DAO, that's what we are building. Just to talk more about the long-term vision. Also, these bots, you can share them. So if you build something interesting, so we saw one of the users recently. They have some sort of NFT that helps to save. They sell carbon credits. So they're using our bots to calculate the carbon credits. For some reason, it was very hard for them to find a platform that would allow them to do that automatically. So that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. So use case that we can't even think about right now. That this space really needs a solution that doesn't need for the person to know how to code, right? Yeah, so I just wanted to add that first. And in terms of making money, you mean as a user or us as a platform?
Well, can the users make money?
Yeah. Well, they can make with their decisions, automating, making it more efficiently, right? Or avoid losing money. We had a user who avoid losing money during one of the dips of the market, who used us to be alerted of what was going on. But as a platform for us, we are launching this week the Pro version, which will be a SaaS membership. So
Okay.
we will always have a free tier that have pretty much all the functionalities that it has today. It has some certain limitations in terms of usage. Like, for example, your bots can only run every 10 minutes if it's a scheduled bot, or if it's a trigger, it can trigger 50 times a day. But you can have as many bots as you want, because we want people to be able to create things and use the logic and share that. So because of that, even the free tier will be unlimited in terms of number of bots. But then the pro tiers, you pay monthly to have access to some functionalities that are only available for pro, such as Twitter is one of them, buying or selling NFTs or listing them. It's in Pro. So right now you can only get notifications. If you want to buy something, that will be available in Pro. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I'm going to do a hard pivot on you really quick and just kind of go into this little rabbit hole that is kind of circling through my head right now. So then, all right, I'm going to take you out of the crypto space for a minute,
Okay.
completely. All right, I'm going to drop you into the real estate world. So let's hypothetically say we're looking for distressed properties, right? I want to find a property that is 100 units that's 50% below market value, that rents are can be raised $400 a unit, that needs maybe 15 grand worth of work, that's not on the market. Can I use your bot to scan through all of these different real estate deals that are coming on and integrate them and get alerted? Hey, here's a property. Hey, here's a property. Hey, here's a property.
Hmm. Yeah, that's very interesting. Um, okay, so hypothetically, yes, that's the direction we are going. That in the future, anything you have the digital data to empower your decision, you can connect it to, right? I'm not super familiar with the real estate space, but I would assume that there will be some sort of API that you can connect to some of the providers that would give you these data inputs, because I imagine there are websites that aggregate deals from multiple places, right? So typically they have APIs. So given that this is available, we could add, we call them blocks in our platform that you can
Mm-hmm.
connect to your logic. We could add a block that gets that data from the real estate, and then you can put all the logic, any logic you want in BOTO, and be notified when those criteria are met that you just mentioned. So
Interesting. So does your platform, would it be able to integrate with paid like subscriptions?
Yeah, so it's one of the models that we're looking for. So if it is a paid subscription on the other end, we spoke with a few companies in the Web3 space. We could do that in a few ways. Some of them we pay because it's worth, and we pay for that subscription and we give it to our users for free or for the pro users, depending on how much we are paying. But depending on the subscription, some of them doesn't make sense for us to do that because it's very niche. Very few people want that. So what we can do is do a kind of like a partnership. So we add the block and we allow that company to charge. So it becomes pretty much like if you go to an Apple store and you buy an app or you subscribe to an app and you pay monthly on that app. Same way, you can have that special block that you can pay for. These
That's
blocks can be
interesting.
built by us or be built by the companies themselves or a developer anywhere. Yeah.
Do you have to, and you don't have to have code to build the blocks, do you?
To build the blocks, you need to know how to code. Right now, we are the only ones building the blocks. We're gonna open up for developers later this year.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of run through that little tangent. That was kind of, I'm just trying to
That's
think
cool.
of
I
like
like that.
use cases that that how I can take this and apply this and stuff like that. Okay, so um all right, so how let's talk a little bit about the crypto and the market and where you think things are going. So get your crystal ball out. What's what's gonna happen?
Um, so, I mean, there so many things related to that question you ask. What's gonna happen in terms of price, in terms of the crypto space in general, long term functionalities, utilities, coins. I guess part of it is the price, right? I guess,
Yeah.
which is the elephant in the room. Um, I think short term for me, it was always very hard to guess anything related short term in crypto. I wouldn't dare guess, going up or down or anything like this. I do believe in the long term of the technology in general.
Of course.
In terms of coins and tokens, I don't think there's space for all these tokens we see out there.
Yeah.
There's no reason for having like 2,000 different tokens. They all do
Right.
pretty much the same thing. And but yeah, I don't know. I can go further on my beliefs for crypto in the long term. I don't know if that's what you want to
Yeah.
know or just yeah.
Yeah, like which ones do you think have some serious legs to them, and are there any that you're just like that's not solving a problem
Yeah,
purely
that's
based on the technology, not the price.
purely purely based on technology. I say, like, of course, Ethereum for me, the idea of having smart contract makes a lot of sense.
Of course.
There are so many things that can be addressed by it. It's very flexible. Um, I think when I look at Bitcoin, the original concept of it, which is, you know, um, being a coin, I think that's probably not possible with the technology we know that now, right? That's not scalable as it was intended to be. But I still like the idea of the initial white paper of being this decentralized platform. I think as a storage of value, it's very likely to continue being used.
Hmm.
But as a technology itself, proof of work is something that it's not
Got
gonna
it.
yeah, it's not gonna work. Yeah, the technology itself is clearly not the best, but it's still Bitcoin. So people still, either by idealism or whatever, I think it's still gonna be there because it works as storage of value. You can't use proof of work for anything else, in my opinion. But I'm also not a big fan of proof of stake. So given the technology of Ethereum, like the smart contract idea, I really believe in that. But the proof of stake is also not something that I'm very a big fan of. So maybe we'll migrate to something else, or one of the other tokens will become the main one regarding smart contracts and other things. The reasons for that, I mean, just to summarize very quickly, I don't know how familiar the audience is with proof of work or proof of stake, but if you think about proof of work, it's basically saying that the people who work there harder are the ones that have more to say in deciding the future of that technology, right? So if we were translate that to a country, the industry, the owners of companies
Right.
in the industry would be the ones with the highest say of what happens in that country. And proof of stake basically says whoever has more money has a higher say. I don't think either of those things would be a choice for anyone to live in a country that has any of these models. So I
Right.
don't think in the long term the technology makes sense to have that as a decision making. Not that full democracy might work neither, but I see problems with those two consensus mechanisms. In that sense, I think something like the XRP consensus makes more sense to me. It's more efficient. Has never had problems being down like Ethereum. So actually, that kind of technology. Not saying would be XRP, but meaning consensus that came after Bitcoin and Ethereum, more modern algorithms. I believe more in those, but it's very hard to say which one will triumph because it's not always about the technology, right? As we know, the companies who today are big, like Facebook, not necessarily was about the technology, right? Like not always the best technology triumphs, or the first mover. So it's very hard to say which one will triumph.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, are you currently liquidating? You buying? What are you doing right now with the market and where it's at?
Yeah, I didn't change any of my positions. They're more on the long term, and I really haven't been trading for a while. I think for me, I have exposure to crypto. I also have exposure to crypto to my company.
Yeah.
So I'm more focused on building BODO than trading.
Then buying and selling.
Mhm.
Okay. When you do make exits, how do you have large enough exits where you're handling huge tax issues, or if you are, like, how are you handling that?
Not really. And right now, I live in a country that doesn't have capital gains, so it's not that bad.
Very nice. Well, yeah.
So
So,
yeah.
um, so the if you do live in a country with capital gains and you do have that pretty high, capital gains tax, one of the things that you can do is you can use what's called a deferred sales trust to sell your crypto and defer the tax, wait for it to kind of come back down and buy back in. We had a
Let's see.
client who bought Bitcoin for I don't know 50 grand and went to like 50 million at the peak. She sold off like 5 million, deferred 1.85 million in tax, and then put some of it into a business venture, and she sold it at 54,000, and now she's buying back a bunch right now where it's like half. So you can find out more about that at capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. And we also have a mastermind every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, every week, every Friday. So come check that out. You can find that at capitalgainstaxsolutions.com as well. And so where can people find you, Breno?
Yeah, other than our website, bodo.io, as you can see here on the screen, you can find me on Twitter. It's Brenoka. So ITS Breno, my name BRENO
Yeah.
CA. That, yeah,
Awesome. Okay. So check them out. So it was ITS Breno.
CA at the end.
CA.
ITS Breno CA. Yeah,
ITSBreno.ca. Awesome. Okay, cool.
cool.
So are you we're kind of coming up on time here. So are you ready for the lightning round?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right. So Breno, what are you most curious about right now?
Artificial intelligence. It sounds a
Yeah.
bit maybe obvious one, but yeah, I've been reading about a lot, and I have, like I mentioned, I studied mechatronics, so it's always been something in my mind. But the recent evolution of the technology, some breakthroughs that we've seen with deep learning, it's quite exciting. So thinking about the future, it's definitely something that I'm very curious about.
Okay, when are robots going to take over the world?
Yeah, kind of that, and how to prevent disasters with while we're going through that
Yeah.
journey. I don't think we are in very close to anything that like that, but I think it's good to think ahead in terms of how do we do that. I like so much that we use today about uh, machine learning and automation that we are consuming. We're being the users without even knowing sometimes, and
Yeah.
all that is built by big companies, right? So part of what we are trying to do here with automations at BODO right now, they are not artificial intelligence, machine learning, but we are giving back to people the power to build their own automation, right? Kind of like democratizing that. So definitely AI is something that we want to get into the future in a way to how can we make it more democratized?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay. What's your favorite leadership quote?
Uh, um, it's basically easy choices make hard times, and hard choices make easy times. I think
Yeah.
it's something like that.
Awesome. Okay. And last question. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Hmm. I think it was to quit my job.
Yeah.
And not do things in parallel. Go full on and focus. I heard at that time, I heard advice from multiple people, and I kind of like saw a difference from people who were more successful than others, and pretty much everyone that was more successful that I thought were more successful said the same thing. Go on full time. You know just dive into it. If it works, works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But if you don't go full time, most likely it won't work. So
Yeah.
so yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. That's good advice. So cool. All right. So guys, you can find Breno out at BODO.io. Go check it out. Is it an app on the app store as well,
It's a
or
website now, mostly desktop. Yeah.
okay, desktop applications? You can download it at BODO.io.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Breno, any parting words?
No, it's been great talking. Thank you so much, Pierce, for inviting, and the chat. Really enjoyed.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. And guys, don't forget to check out capitalgainstaxsolutions.com if you're interested in learning more about the Deferred Sales Trust and how it can save you hundreds of thousands, not millions, in capital gains tax. Come to our mastermind every Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And you can find all that out at capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. Make sure you check out BODO.io. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Breno, thanks again for your time. It was an awesome conversation. And thanks again, everybody, for listening to another episode of Capital Gains Tax Solutions Podcast. As always, we believe most high net worth individuals and their professional teams struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy. Using a proven tax deferral strategy, such as the Deferred Sales Trust, the best way to exit your highly appreciated crypto, business, real estate, stock, anything that's highly appreciated, tax deferred, so you can create, preserve, and grow your wealth. Please rate, review, subscribe, smash the like button, notification bell, share it, comment, all that good stuff, guys. And we'll see you on the next one. Breno, thanks again, man. Talk to you soon.
Well, thank you.